A marriage on paper. My name is Daniel Hayes, and 2 years ago, I stopped believing in love. Love was the reason my fiancée, Rachel Morgan, left me. Love was the excuse my best friend, Kevin Morgan, used when he betrayed me. Since then, I had trusted numbers, contracts, and business deals more than people. That was why I wasn't surprised when my grandmother called me into her study and tried to negotiate my future like a business agreement. Sit down, Daniel. I dropped into the chair across from her desk. What is it this time? Margaret Hayes sighed. You work too much. On a company. That's how it works. No, you're hiding. I frowned. I'm not hiding. You haven't dated anyone in 2 years. I looked away. That's not your concern. It is when you're my grandson. Her voice softened. My health is getting worse. That got my attention immediately. What do you mean? The doctors found new complications. My chest tightened. How serious? Serious enough that I want peace of mind. I leaned forward. Grandma, I want to know you'll have someone beside you when I'm gone. I hated hearing her talk like that. You're not going anywhere. We both know that's not true. The room fell silent. Finally, she smiled sadly. William has a proposal. I turned toward the family lawyer. William Brooks had been sitting quietly near the window. I don't like that smile. Most people don't, he replied. What proposal? William opened a folder. A temporary marriage arrangement. I stared at him. A what? A contract marriage. I laughed. Then I realized neither of them was joking. You can't be serious. It's practical, William said. I don't marry strangers. You don't date anyone either, my grandmother replied. I rubbed my forehead. This is ridiculous. Listen first. Against my better judgment, I nodded. William slid a document across the desk. A woman named Sophia Carter needs financial assistance. And she needs money to support her younger sister. I crossed my arms. What does that have to do with me? You need a wife. Temporary wife. Exactly. I couldn't believe this conversation was real. Hours later, I found myself walking into William's office for a meeting I never thought I'd attend. The woman waiting inside stood when I entered. She looked nervous but determined. This is Sophia Carter, William said. Our eyes met. Neither of us smiled. Daniel Hayes. Sophia Carter. Her handshake was firm. That surprised me. We sat across from each other. Neither of us spoke for several seconds. Finally, Sophia broke the silence. Let's get something clear. I raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. I'm not looking for romance. Good. I'm doing this for my sister. I'm doing this for my grandmother. She nodded. Then we understood. Two strangers under one roof. I never expected marriage to be this irritating. 3 days after signing the contract, Sophia moved into my house with 2 suitcases and a stubborn expression. That room is yours, I said as I pointed down the hallway. Thank you. Don't touch anything in my office. Fine. Don't enter my room without permission. I wasn't planning to. I narrowed my eyes. She crossed her arms. The silence between us felt like a challenge. Anything else? She asked. Yes. I like things organized. So do I. We'll see. That evening, I discovered my coffee mugs had been rearranged. I walked into the kitchen. Why are these in a different cabinet? Sophia looked up from her laptop. Because that cabinet makes more sense. It doesn't. It does. It's my house. It's our house for 6 months. I stared at her. She stared back. Finally, she said, You look ridiculous when you're angry about mugs. For some reason, I couldn't argue with that. The next morning created a new problem. I entered the kitchen and found Sophia cooking breakfast. What are you doing? Making food. I can see that. Then why did you ask? I sighed. She placed a plate in front of me. I didn't ask for breakfast. I know. Then why make it? Because normal people eat in the morning. I looked at the food. It smelled surprisingly good. Thank you, I muttered. Her eyes widened. Did you just thank me? Don't get used to it. She laughed. The sound caught me off guard. For a moment, the house felt less empty. At work, Emma Lewis noticed something immediately. She entered my office carrying several files. You look different. I look the same. No. She sat down. You're less grumpy. That's impossible. Emma grinned. How is married life? It's a contract. Sure, it is. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I shook my head. Nothing has changed. Emma leaned forward. Then why are you smiling? I quickly stopped. I wasn't smiling. You were. I wasn't. You absolutely were. I changed the subject before she could continue. That evening, I returned home later than usual. Sophia was helping Emily with schoolwork at the dining table. Emily looked up. Hi, Daniel. Hello. Can you help me with this math problem? Sophia smiled. Good luck. He sat beside Emily. Within minutes, she solved the problem. Thanks. No problem. Emily grinned. You're nicer than Sophia said. Sophia nearly dropped her pencil. I never said he wasn't nice. You said he was scary. I laughed. Sophia covered her face. For the first time, the tension between us felt lighter. Over the next week, small things changed. We still argued. We still annoyed each other. But the arguments felt less serious. One night, she complained about my late work hours. You need sleep. I need results. You need both. I'm fine. No, you're stubborn. He pointed to her. You're stubborn. True. That answer surprised me. I found myself laughing again. A few days later, I noticed something else. Sophia never bought anything for herself. The scars we hide. Finding Sophia awake at 2 in the morning changed something inside me. For days afterward, I couldn't stop thinking about the stack of medical bills I'd seen on her desk. One evening, I found her sitting alone on the patio. You look tired, I said. She laughed softly. That's because I am. You worked all day. So did you. Fair point. He sat beside her. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I asked, how long have you been taking care of Emily by yourself? Her smile faded. A long time. You don't have to answer if it's difficult. No, it's okay. She looked toward the dark sky. I was 19 when my parents died. I froze. What happened? Car accident. I'm sorry. Thank you. Her voice remained calm, but I could hear the pain underneath. Emily was only 11. That must have been hard. It was terrifying. She clasped her hands together. I didn't know how to be a parent. But you did it. Barely. I shook my head. From what I've seen, you've done an amazing job. Her eyes widened slightly. Really? Really? For a second, she looked emotional. Then she smiled. That means more than you realize. I leaned back in my chair. Why didn't you ask relatives for help? Her expression darkened. Because nobody wanted the responsibility. The answer hit me harder than I expected. They just left you alone? Pretty much. That's awful. I stopped expecting people to save me. I understood that feeling better than she knew. She noticed my silence. What about you? What about me? You never talk about yourself. I laughed. Maybe because I'm boring. I don't believe that. You shouldn't. She pointed at me. Deflection. I sighed. Fine. The word felt heavier than expected. What happened to make you hate relationships? The question lingered between us. I hadn't spoken about Rachel in years. Yet somehow, talking to Sophia felt easier. There was someone. There always is. Her name was Rachel. Sophia listened quietly. We were together for 4 years. That's serious. It was. I stared at the floor. We were supposed to get married. Her eyes softened. What happened? My best friend happened. She blinked. What? Kevin. I laughed bitterly. He was like a brother to me. Sophia didn't interrupt. 3 weeks before the wedding, I found out they were together. Her face turned pale. Daniel, they had been hiding it for months. I'm so sorry. The worst part wasn't losing Rachel. What was it? Losing trust. The words escaped before I could stop them. I rubbed my forehead. After that, every promise sounded fake. Sophia nodded slowly. I understand. No, you don't. I do. I looked at her. She held my gaze. When my parents died, everyone promised they would help. Her voice shook. Most of them disappeared. I suddenly understood. Not the same pain, but the same disappointment, the same broken trust. For the first time, I felt like someone genuinely understood me. You never judged me, I said quietly. Why would I? Most people think I should have moved on you. Pretending becomes dangerous. After the night Sophia fell asleep on my shoulder, everything felt different. Nothing had officially changed. The contract was still in place. The rules remained the same. Yet every time I looked at her, I became aware of things I had never noticed before. Her smile, her laugh, the way she always put Emily first. Those details stayed in my mind longer than they should have. A week later, Sophia and I attended a family dinner at my grandmother's house. Before entering, Sophia adjusted her dress nervously. Relax, I said. I'm trying. It's only my family. She gave me a look. That's exactly why I'm nervous. I laughed. Without thinking, I offer my arm. She hesitated before taking it. The simple contact sent an unexpected warmth through me. Inside, my grandmother Margaret greeted us immediately. There you are. We're only 5 minutes late, I said. That's still late. Sophia smiled. I told him the same thing. My grandmother's eyes sparkled. Good. Someone needs to. I groaned. Both women ignored me. Throughout dinner, Sophia played her role perfectly. She laughed at family stories. She helped serve food. She remembered details about relatives she had only met once. Everyone adored her. At one point, my grandmother pulled me aside. You look happy. I'm fine. No. She smiled knowingly. You're happy. It's part of the act. Is it? I didn't answer. She patted my shoulder. Be careful, Daniel. What does that mean? It means some things stop being pretend before we notice. Her words followed me for the rest of the evening. On the drive home, Sophia stared out the window. You were amazing tonight. She smiled. Your grandmother is wonderful. She likes you. I like her too. A comfortable silence settled between us. Then she said quietly, your family feels warm. The sadness in her voice caught my attention. You deserve that too. She looked away. For some reason, I wanted to reach for her hand. I kept both hands firmly on the steering wheel instead. The following days brought more moments that complicated everything. We cooked together, watched movies together, argued over ridiculous things together. The house no longer felt empty. One evening, I arrived home carrying takeout. Sophia smiled. You remember my favorite. I froze. I did. Yes. She laughed. You bought it without realizing. That realization stayed with me. I remembered things about her now. Favorite food. Favorite movies. Favorite coffee. People didn't memorize details like that by accident. A few days later, my past returned back. Sophia and I are fine. That's not what I asked. I sighed. Emma crossed her arms. Tell me something, she said. Do you love her? I nearly choked. Don't be ridiculous. That's not an answer. It doesn't matter. Her expression softened. Daniel, the contract ends soon. I know. Then stop pretending you don't care. I looked away. Emma shook her head. You're hiding behind fear. You don't understand. No, I understand perfectly. You're afraid she'll reject you. I stayed silent. Emma pointed at me. That's exactly what's happening. And what if you're right? Then tell her anyway. I laughed bitterly. Easy for you to say. No, easy for you to avoid. After she left, her words refused to leave my mind. That evening, I returned home and found Sophia sitting with Emily. Emily smiled. Daniel, Sophia made dinner. That's dangerous. Sophia rolled her eyes. I can cook. We'll find out. Emily laughed. For a little while, everything felt normal again. Then Emily excused herself and went to her room. The moment she disappeared, the silence returned. Sophia looked down at her plate. How was work? Busy. That's good. I nodded. Neither of us said anything else. The distance between us felt unbearable. A few days later, I came home unexpectedly early. As I walked past the guest room, I noticed the door partially open. Inside, Sophia was placing clothes into a suitcase. I stopped. Before she noticed me, I quietly stepped away. My chest tightened. She was preparing to leave. That night, I couldn't sleep. The next morning, Margaret called. Daniel. Hi, Grandma. You sound miserable. Thanks. I'm old, not blind. I smiled despite myself. She continued. Do you love Sophia? I closed my eyes. You too. Answer the question. After several seconds, I whispered yes. Margaret sighed. Then why haven't you told her? What if she doesn't feel the same? What if she does? I had no response. She laughed softly. For a businessman, you're terrible with risks. The call ended, but her words stayed with me. Over the following weeks, every moment with Sophia became harder. When she smiled, I wondered how many days remained. When she laughed, I imagined the house without her. Every ordinary conversation felt precious. One evening, we sat on the porch together. The sunset painted the sky orange. Sophia broke the silence. 6 months passed quickly. Too quickly. She looked surprised. I immediately regretted speaking. Neither of us continued. Another opportunity lost. A few days later, Rachel unexpectedly called. I answered reluctantly. Daniel, can we talk? There's nothing to discuss. I made mistakes. Yes, I still think about us. I stared out the office window. The words that once would have shaken me now felt empty. I'm not the same person anymore. Is it because of her? I didn't answer. Rachel laughed sadly. I guess that's my answer. After ending the call, I realized something important. The day I lost her. The next morning arrived far too quickly. I stood in the hallway outside the guest room, staring at the closed door. My heart felt heavy. The contract ended today. One conversation could change everything. One confession could stop her from leaving. Yet fear kept me frozen. When Sophia finally came downstairs carrying a suitcase, I forced myself to speak. You're ready? She nodded. Yes. The answer felt like a knife. I cleared my throat. So this is it? I guess it is. Neither of us moved. Neither of us said what truly mattered. After several painful seconds, she forced a smile. Thank you. For what? For helping Emily. I looked away. You don't need to thank me. I do. The silence returned. Then she stepped forward and held out her hand. My chest tightened. After everything we had shared, a handshake felt unbearable. Still, I took it. Goodbye, Daniel. The words shattered something inside me. Goodbye, Sophia. She released my hand. Then she walked toward the door. Every instinct screamed at me to stop her. Tell her. Fight for her. Do something. Instead, I stood there and watched. The door opened, then closed, and she was gone. For several minutes, I remained completely still. The house felt empty. The silence felt wrong. I walked into the kitchen. Her favorite mug sat beside the coffee machine. I walked into the living room. The blanket she always used remained folded on the couch. Every corner of the house reminded me of her. I finally sank into a chair. What have I done? No answer came. Only regret. The following week became a blur. I buried myself in work. I arrived early. I stayed late. I attended meetings. I signed contracts. I approved projects. Yet none of it mattered. One afternoon, Emma entered my office and immediately frowned. You look exhausted. I'm fine. No, you're not. I'm working. You're hiding. I sighed. Emma sat across from me. Why didn't you stop her? I don't know. That's a lie. I rubbed my forehead. I was afraid. Of what? Of hearing her say no. Emma stared at me. Now you'll never know. Her words hurt because they were true. For the first time in years, I had found someone who made me happy. Then I let her leave. Days later, another problem appeared. During a financial review meeting, my cousin Ethan Hayes challenged several decisions I had made. This company needs stronger leadership. I looked at him carefully. What exactly are you suggesting? I'm suggesting you've become distracted. Several executives exchanged nervous glances. I kept my voice calm. Be careful, Ethan. He smiled. I'm only speaking the truth. The meeting ended badly. Afterward, Emma followed me into my office. He's making a move. I know. He thinks you're vulnerable. Maybe I am. Emma shook her head. Don't say that. But she wasn't entirely wrong. Without earning to fight for love. I stared at the city skyline through my office window and felt absolutely nothing. 3 weeks had passed since Sophia left. 3 weeks of meetings, contracts, and endless work. 3 weeks of pretending I was fine. Emma walked in my office carrying a folder. You look terrible. Good morning to you too. I'm serious, Daniel. I'm working. You've been working 16-hour days. I have responsibilities. Emma dropped the folder onto my desk. No, you have regrets. I looked away. That's not your concern. It became my concern when you stopped acting like yourself. I laughed bitterly. Myself? I don't even know who that is anymore. Emma crossed her arms. Then I'll remind you. You used to care about things. I still do. No, you care about one thing. I knew exactly what she meant. Sophia made her choice. Emma shook her head. That's what you're telling yourself. What else am I supposed to think? Maybe she left because you never gave her a reason to stay. Her words hit harder than I expected. Emma, no, listen to me. She pointed at me. You love her. I remained silent. You love her, and she loves you. You don't know that. I know she looked at you like you were her entire world. Pain tightened my chest. It doesn't matter now. It matters if you're willing to fight. Before I could answer, my phone rang. It was Oliver Grant. My mentor rarely called unexpectedly. Daniel, come see me. I'm busy. That's exactly why you need to come. An hour later, I sat across from Oliver in his office. He studied me quietly. You look exhausted. I've had a difficult month. No, you've had a broken heart. I sighed. Is everyone determined to attack me today? Oliver smiled. Only the people who care about you. I leaned back. What do you want to tell me? The company will survive. I know. Your reputation will survive. I know. But your relationship won't. I stared at him. I don't have a relationship. That's the problem. His voice softened. For years, you've treated life like a business transaction. That kept me from getting hurt. Did it? I didn't answer. Oliver continued. Rachel betrayed you. I understand that. Then you understand why I built walls. I understand why you built them. I don't understand why you're still hiding behind them. I looked down. I was afraid. Of what? Rejection. The word felt embarrassing. Oliver nodded. Good. Good. You finally admitted it. I laughed weakly. That doesn't solve anything. No. But honesty is where solutions begin. He leaned forward. What do you want? I didn't hesitate. I want Sophia. Then go get her. What if she doesn't want me anymore? Oliver smiled. Then you'll know you tried. The conversation followed me home. That night, I found myself staring at a photograph from our wedding ceremony. A fake wedding. A real smile. My phone buzzed. The message was from Emily. Can we talk? I immediately called. Emily, Daniel, is everything okay? There was a pause. Sophia isn't okay. My heart jumped. What happened? Nothing dramatic. Then what? She's unhappy. I closed my eyes. Emily, she misses you. The words stole my breath. She never says it. But you know, I live with her. I gripped the phone tighter. Where is she now? Still in Riverside. She likes her new job? She works hard. That's not what I asked. Another pause. No, she doesn't. Hope appeared for the first time in weeks. Emily, thank you. Don't thank me. The truth in our hearts. I stood in the hallway outside Sophia's apartment and waited for her answer. She stared at me for several seconds. Daniel, why are you here? Because I should have come sooner. Her expression softened slightly. That's not an answer. Can we talk? She hesitated. I don't know if that's a good idea. I do. Silence stretched between us. Finally, she stepped aside. 5 minutes. I entered the apartment. The familiar scent of coffee filled the room. Sophia placed her bag on the table. What do you want to say? I took a deep breath. The truth. She folded her arms, then started talking. I looked directly at her. I miss you. Her eyes widened. Daniel, I miss your voice. I miss your arguments. I miss seeing you in the kitchen every morning. She looked away. Don't what? Don't make this harder. I stepped closer. It was already hard the day you left. She swallowed. You let me leave. The words hit me like a punch. I know. You watched me walk away. I know. You never stopped me. Regret flooded through me. I was afraid. She laughed sadly. Afraid of what? Afraid you didn't feel the same way. Sophia stared at me. For the first time, I saw tears forming in her eyes. You thought I didn't love you? The word love echoed inside my chest. You do. She shook her head. You really are hopeless. I almost smiled. Sophia. No, let me speak. Her voice trembled. I spent months falling in love with you. Every word felt unreal. I told myself not. She wiped her eyes. I reminded myself every day that our marriage wasn't real. I listened carefully. But every time you helped Emily, every time you supported me, every time you stayed beside me when things were difficult, her voice broke. I fell deeper. My heart pounded. Sophia. I was terrified. Why? Because people leave. I remembered everything she had told me about losing her parents. She lowered her head. I couldn't survive losing you too. I gently reached for her hand. You didn't lose me. I thought I did. I squeezed her fingers. Then it's my fault. She looked up. What? I spent so much time protecting myself that I forgot to fight for what mattered. Her eyes never left mine. I need you to understand something. What? I don't want a contract. A tear rolled down her cheek. I don't either. I don't want deadlines. Neither do I. I don't want conditions. She laughed through her tears. Then what do you want? The answer came easily. You. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around me. I held her tightly. Months of fear disappeared. Months of uncertainty finally ended. I love you, Daniel. The words almost stole my breath. I love you too. For the first time, there were no barriers between us. No contract. No expiration date. No fear. Only us. A week later, we returned home together. I thought our problems were finally over. I was wrong. The following morning, Emma rushed into my office. Daniel, we have a problem. What happened? Ethan. My expression darkened immediately. What did he do now? He started spreading rumors about Sophia. Anger surged through me. What kind of rumors? He claimed she manipulated you for money. I stood instantly. Where is he? Emma gave me the location. 20 minutes later, I walked into a company meeting room. Ethan smirked when he saw me. Daniel, stop talking. His smile faded. What? I know what you've been saying. Ethan shrugged. I'm only telling people the truth. No. My voice echoed across the room. You're lying. Love beyond the contract. Several weeks after I publicly defended Sophia, Ethan's position inside the company began collapsing. The lies he had spread were finally catching up with him. I sat across from him in a boardroom as the investigation report was presented. Ethan looked nervous. For once, he had no arrogance left. One board member cleared his throat. The evidence confirms unauthorized financial actions. Ethan immediately spoke. I can explain. No, I said calmly. You can't. He glared at me. You think you've won. I didn't come here to win. Then why are you here? I looked directly at him. Because actions have consequences. The room remained silent. Ethan laughed bitterly. You always act like you're better than everyone. No. I shook my head. I've made plenty of mistakes. Then stop pretending you're innocent. I'm not innocent. That answer surprised him. I lost the woman I loved because I was afraid to be honest. For a moment, Ethan looked confused. Then he lowered his eyes. The board reached its decision shortly afterward. His authority was removed. His attempt to seize control of the company officially failed. As he stood to leave, he paused beside me. I never thought you'd choose love over business. I smiled slightly. Neither did I. After he left, I felt something unexpected. Relief. Not because Ethan lost, because I no longer cared about defeating him. My life finally felt bigger than revenge. That evening, Sophia and I visited my grandmother. Margaret sat comfortably in her favorite chair when we arrived. The moment she saw us holding hands, she smiled. I've been waiting for this. Sophia laughed. Waiting for what? The truth. I exchanged a glance with Sophia. There was no reason to hide anything anymore. I sat beside my grandmother. There's something we need to tell you. I know. I blinked. You know. She nodded. The marriage contract. Sophia nearly dropped her cup. You knew. Not at first. Margaret smiled knowingly. But eventually, I figured it out. I stared at her. And you never said anything? What would have been the point? I laughed. You could have been angry. Instead, she reached for Sophia's hand. My dear, are you happy? Sophia's answer came instantly. Yes. Margaret looked at me. And you? I've never been happier. My grandmother's eyes became emotional. Then nothing else matters. Sophia squeezed her hand. You aren't upset? Why would I be? Because we lied? Margaret smiled warmly. You may have started with a lie. She glanced between us. But what you built became real. Her words settled deep inside me. For months, I had worried about her reaction. Instead, she gave us acceptance and peace. 3 months later, life looked completely different. The company had stabilized. The constant pressure was gone. Ethan had moved away from the business. Most importantly, Sophia was still beside me. One afternoon, Emily joined us for lunch. She looked happier than I had ever seen her. Guess what? She asked. What? I got accepted. Sophia gasped. Really? Emily nodded excitedly. The university approved everything. Sophia immediately hugged her. I smiled while watching them. Months earlier, Emily's future had been uncertain. Now, she had opportunities waiting for her. Congratulations, I said. Emily grinned. Thanks, Daniel. Later that night, Sophia and I walked through a quiet park. She slipped her hand into mine. You seem thoughtful. I am. What are you thinking about? I smiled. How much has changed? She laughed softly. That's true. I stopped walking. Sophia. She looked at me. What? I have a question. Her eyes narrowed suspiciously. That sounds dangerous. Probably. I reached into my pocket. The moment she saw the ring,